TMS WEB Core is rapid application development. Today I'm going to show you how you can create forms easily based on a data set with database controls. Today I'm going to show you how you can automatically create forms with database controls. This feature is available right now, and this only refers to the RedStudio IDE. As said before, you create a form automatically, and the form will be based on fields that you defined in a dataset. Here you see the process. You select the fields, drag them over onto the form, and the form will contain the controls that you need to enter information into the dataset. In order to get you started with this great new feature, I'm going to start from scratch with a hands-on tutorial how you get this functionality inside your TMS WEB Core client application. Using File New TMS Web Application, I'm creating a new application for TMS WEB Core. I'm not going to bother to change the name of the form and files or anything. We're just going to focus on the database functionality. In order to access data from the internet and store it in a web client dataset, I also need a T-Web client connection, in addition to the T-Web client dataset. The client connection is then set to the resource that you want to connect to and edit or just browse inside of your web client dataset. As an example, TMS provides the FishFact database that is well known in Delphi circles. You find it under this URL right here. You can pause the video to take the proper time to get the link. Also, you will find this link in the dataset example, which I'll show at the end of this video if you don't want to take it down right now and don't want to start from scratch. So this is where a lot of people already struggle. You set the active property to true, you go to your web client dataset, you connect the web client dataset to the web client connection by selecting the connection, and now you need to create the fields for your dataset. This is a necessary step to get the design time experience. So you right-click the client dataset and click Fetch Fields. And this is where everybody stumbles at first, because the message is that the fields could not be retrieved automatically. Let's look at the JSON document that has been returned by this connection. What is contained inside of this JSON document? We can clearly see that we have fields: species number, category, common name. These are the fields that we know from the FishFact database. Why is TMS WEB Core not able to find them? In order to find out, we need to look at the structure of the JSON document. It starts with an entity, and now we should think, well, there should be an array in the first start, right? Because an array is an enumeration of records. It doesn't do so though. Instead, there is a row property, and the row property is an array that lists all the records of the document. And that is exactly the problem. TMS WEB Core tries to find fields here and the records here, and it's not there. It's basically one record. It's one record with the property row, and then there is the array. So what we need to do is we need to set the so-called data node to row. What happens then is that TMS WEB Core will take row as the starting point to find the records and will then iterate all these records, and it will be able to find the fields automatically for you. So going back into our Delphi project, we click the connection, and here's the data node property. Mind that this is case sensitive. Everything in JavaScript is case sensitive. As JSON is from the JavaScript world, everything is case sensitive. So we have to specify ROW in capital letters. And repeating the fetch fields functionality now yields the field's name as desired. At this point, our dataset has all the fields. Now we can right-click it and use the fields editor. This is the second difficulty. Of course, just like with a database, you have to add the fields to the field editor to create the T field instances inside of your IDE or inside of the source code. So you right-click it and click Add Fields, and here you go with a list of the fields that you can select. I'm going to select all of them and click OK. And here we go with all the T field instances: T string field, another string field, length is an integer field, and so on. So this would be the time now to create the form. You would go to the TMS Web Data Controls, and then you would select the DB Edit, for example, for the species number or for the species name. You would select the edit control, select the data source, and so on. We don't even have a data source yet. Let's make it really simple and show you the new feature. You simply select the fields that you want to have on your form. We want the species number, the common name, the species name, the length in centimeters, and that's it. We drag the fields over onto the design surface, drop them, and there you go. And it also created the TWeb data source, which is linked to your data set fully automatically. And now you have your edit controls that are linked to the data set. You can't really make it any easier than this. And keep in mind that this data connection is able to connect to any web service there is. It does not depend how you generate this web service. So even if you don't have a Red server license or an Xdata license, you are able to consume services created with those tools by other developers. That is just the power of web services, that you can create a format that is consumable by any other web client. And TMS WEB Core makes it really easy so that you can consume any web client you want. If you're looking for a complete dataset example, you'll find it in the Basics folder of the demonstrations that are bundled with TMS WEB Core in the Dataset folder. Just open the project and have a look at the main form, and there you can see how to link all the controls to each other and how to build a form. With the feature introduced today, you're able to quickly build forms like these. And this concludes the feature showcase for the new feature to automatically generate forms from your database fields in the database field editor inside of the RedStudio IDE.